Hey you guys, it's Tuesday night. Time for a cooking class. We are going to be making a recipe out of my cooking book tonight, my cookbook. The link is down below. If you guys still haven't purchased one of these, I just ordered, I think there's like one left to purchase. But I just ordered a whole bunch, whole nother order coming from Canada. So, those will be coming. But I think there's one left in the box. So if you haven't grabbed one yet, go down and click the link and it's just click pay and I ship it right to you. So tonight's recipe is going to be on page 120. And it is the chicken mushroom wild rice soup. This is a really, really yummy, creamy soup. Really, really good. It does have thickener in it. There are other alternatives that you could use, things like, I always go to things like cream cheese to thicken it. If you don't want to use sprouted flour or cassava flour, or I'm going to be using cornstarch, you could always thicken it with other things. So just think dairy and things that thicken soup. So you could use, like I said, you could use cream cheese, you could use cheese. There's a couple of options. So we're going to get started. And then I'm going to update you guys on my house. Thank you, Kathy, for your email. And I'm going to talk a little bit about my most recent cavity video. But we'll do that once the soup is going, okay? And the windows are open because it's fall and cool outside. So you guys are going to hear George the goose. There they go. And the goats and probably the dogs. So that'll all be coming in through the window. You guys are going to get the full farm effect tonight. So I say this, I try to remember to say this every cooking class, but if you can hit the thumbs up button, I do not get paid for my views, but it just gets the videos out to more people. George just like really wants to be on the video. Chill out, man. Anyway, if you can hit the thumbs up, it does get the videos out to more people, which helps to spread the message of nutrient-dense foods and encourage more parents to cook from scratch, okay? So I've already pre-chopped everything. I got my homemade broth here. I just had this simmering on the stove. I put a whole chicken in this pot earlier today. Woo! With some water and a little bit of apple cider vinegar. And it was just simmering on low for the whole day. But you totally use a crock pot to do the same thing and get yourself some broth. A lot cheaper to buy a whole chicken, add your filtered water and your apple cider vinegar and let it slowly cook in a crock pot than it is to buy your broth. Okay, so the first ingredient is going to be butter. 2 tablespoons of butter. And I'm just going to estimate because, well, butter is good for you, so a little bit extra is not going to hurt. This pan is over medium heat. And the pan is still dirty, yes, because we just pulled chicken out. So, chicken and broth. So it's going to be a little bit messy looking. I'm also going to be substituting the fresh spinach in the recipe for my dried kale that came from my garden. But other than that, we should be sticking to the recipe pretty much just as it is stated in the cookbook. Okay, that light is always bothersome for you guys and not for me. So, I hope everybody's doing okay. We've got butter melting. You're not really missing much. I've already pre-chopped my onion. So as soon as the butter is a little bit more melted, I'm going to throw the onion in there. It's like Grand Central Station. The recipe does call for 8 garlic cloves. I have 5 down here, but they're really big garlic cloves. So just use your best judgment. You could use 8 huge ones if you love garlic, which we do. But I grew all this garlic this year, and I'm trying to conserve as much of it as possible. So if it's a huge garlic clove, I'm going to count it for at least 2 garlic cloves instead of just 1. Whoops. I usually count a garlic clove that's about the size of your thumbnail. I count that as 1. So 8 garlic cloves. I'm just going to throw them right in, right into the butter. Maybe. All right. Just going to dice them on up here. I've already peeled these. The skins have already been removed, and we are on with chopping. This is a huge clove. Look at that. Look at the size of that thing compared to my thumbnail. So 8, your estimate, 8 garlic cloves, depending on how big your box on your end. Into the butter. This is going to come together really, really quickly. And then, like I said, then we're going to talk about my latest cavity video, and we're going to talk about my house. How is my house going? We've been doing some building there. All right, I'm going to go ahead and add the 1 yellow onion. We're going to let that saute. Look at my pretty bowls. These came out of a really, really old building that my parents bought. There's no significant monetary value on them, but they are pretty. They gave me most of the set for free because, well, restaurants don't use this stuff anymore. So even though it was in a building that was like early 1900s, they don't use this anymore. And if I break these on the floor, there's like really no significant value because they're actually a print that is a duplicate of the original, so it's not really the original. So anyway, I don't care if these bowls and plates get dropped on my floor because, well, they were free. Hey Jackie, hi Crystal, computer down, so using one loan from the library, so more effort to use. I'm just glad you're here, Jackie. Hey Sharon, how are you? I hope you, yes, we should do a baby and me update too. That'd be fun. Okay, so we're sauteing here. I'm gonna get a spoon. We'll just talk about it all. I'm feeling very, very pregnant. I don't feel huge. I'm definitely feeling pregnant. We have less than 10 weeks to go, you guys. This baby is coming. Which is kind of crazy to think about. I'm still in the mode of getting everything done on the farm that needs to be done before winter, because usually our winter doesn't turn winter until January. I mean, we might get a snow here or there before then, but like the horribly cold weather and the snow doesn't hit till January. And I'm going to have a newborn then. So I'm trying to think ahead and like what things can I get done now so that when I have a newborn, there's less of a chance that mom has to go outside. So that's what I'm working on right now. We've got a repair on our buck shelter that needs to happen, and I've got to set up the animal pens in the greenhouse arc, that's what I'm going to call it, because we move all of our animals indoors. The goats stay out until kidding season, but the chickens go in probably in November, so that all needs to be set up as well. But the kids are big helpers, so don't be worried I'm not overdoing it. Especially now that I feel like hugely pregnant. I don't know if you guys can see that. Big bump. So, anyway, but things are going well. We have passed all of our testing as far as health-wise with the midwife, etc. So we are just, and baby is head down, at least it was at my last appointment. So we're just waiting until baby's ready to come. So, like I said, less than 10 weeks. It's going to come really fast. Okay, so next ingredients are 6 celery stalks and 6 carrots. This is my homegrown celery, and so there's a lot of leaves and not as much of the stalks, but that's okay. It still adds all the flavor and the bulk that we need for a soup. Okay, and then to this, we're going to go ahead and add 8 cups of chicken broth. And like I said, this is what I made today. But even if you're a working mom, you can totally make your own chicken broth. It's not hard. And it's cheaper than buying it. In fact, you can make the chicken broth while you're at work. That's how easy it is. All right, I do have the 6 cups of cooked chicken. It's like already chopped right below you here. But I'm not going to add that until last because it's already cooked. And if you were to add cooked chicken to this right now, it's going to like shred all out into like little tiny shreds. And I like chunks of chicken inside our soup instead of shred. If you don't mind the shred, put the chicken in right now, no problem. But we'd like more chunky looking chicken. So I'm going to hold off on adding that to the recipe. All right, we got to add some mushrooms. These are already chopped. and frozen. So you could, if they were fresh, you could technically go ahead and saute them. But mine are frozen, which makes them kind of soft already. So I'm just going to add them right to the soup. And I'm just approximating. I need 1 pound. But man, when they're frozen, it's hard to tell how much. So just going to eyeball it. Need some mushrooms. If you're using fresh ones, go ahead and saute it when we sauteed the onion and the garlic in the beginning. And then we got seasonings, but I missed a comment. So hang on, I'm coming. Sharon says, just a lost sight of your feet, I bet. Well, I can still see them. Well, I can still see the tips of my toes. Okay. But it's getting to a point where I almost can't touch my feet. So Sharon says I have to go. I'll have to watch the rest on replay. Okay, Sharon, thanks for dropping in. Okay. Seasonings. Here we go. First seasoning is 1 teaspoon of thyme. And it's not the time that nobody has anymore. It's the actual, I'll show it to you. The actual thyme, Thyme. Okay. We need 2 bay leaves. Because this soup is going to be simmering for a little while. I'm going to have to kind of estimate that even because those are kind of broken on up. Okay, we need 1.5 teaspoons of rosemary. Whoops. There we go. Yeah, I start to know that I'm really pregnant when I can't really reach my feet. So I clip my toenails. Probably the last time I'm going to do it. That was yesterday. And I told the girls that in a few weeks they'll be the ones painting my toenails instead of me because I won't be able to reach them. Okay, and then we've got 3 cups of fresh spinach, but like I said, I'm going to use my dried kale from my garden. I'm going to add that. But you could use 3 cups of fresh spinach if you want. I just happen to have this on hand and I'd like to use it this winter. I have a habit of dehydrating things and then never using them, and I want to stop that habit and reach for my pantry instead of the grocery store. Okay, let's see where we're at. We are at salt. 3 teaspoons of healthy salt. So healthy salt is pink Himalayan salt, Celtic sea salt, real salt. And I'm going to measure this one out instead of estimating. Don't want my my soup to be too salty. Okay, so that's it for this for now. We're going to wait on the chicken, like I said. Oh, wait, it's not yet. We got to add our rice. Hang on a second. All right. I have a little over 2 cups of soaked and fermented for 1 day wild rice. You can ferment for 3 days. The wild rice is actually a grass, but this is a wild rice mix, so it's got rice in it as well. So the longer you can ferment it, the better. The only thing that I have had happen is if I go past 1 day of soaking and 1 day of fermenting is the soup, if left like on the stove, even in a heavy bottomed pot, overnight because it's too hot to put away, in the morning it'll be fermented, which isn't a bad thing. It just tastes fermented. So it's still safe to eat, but it tastes like fermented soup, which no one in my family is really into. So if you don't know what I'm talking about soaking and fermenting and why we do that with rice and beans and other seeds of the earth, you can go check out the playlist here on the channel, proper preparation of grains. But basically, to give you a long and short end of it, would be that basically we're going through a preparing process. It doesn't take very much time. That unlocks all the nutrients of the food for your family. Okay, now this is ready to boil. So we are going to bring it to a boil. And we're just going to cook it until the vegetables are soft, because usually the rice is soft by then as well. So we will talk a little bit while we wait. How about that? I'm going to put a lid on this too. Okay. So, as I said before, we've got cookbooks coming from Canada. So those, I think I have one left upstairs, if I remember right. So I was going to talk about my most recent, I got to keep on going tall. Hang on a second here. I was going to talk about my most recent cavity video. It was short and sweet, but I had to laugh because I don't know if this is a real person or not, so I'm not trying to throw you under the bus if you are a real person. But JS 2022, I really, what's the right word? Admire your persistence to get on every single one of my cavity videos and state your beliefs and your negativity. But in case you haven't noticed, I delete all of them. And I'm not sure why you're still watching. But if you're still watching and you're open-minded, which I don't think either of those things actually happen, and you're not a robot, what I have to say is I'm not sure why you're questioning if the body can heal, because the only reason why your body's not healing is because you're questioning that it can. If you think about, like, cuts heal themselves, bones heal themselves. Your eyes, when you scratch them and you go to the eye doctor, they heal themselves. It's not the magical drops. It's not any of those sort of things. It heals itself. When you bite your tongue, it heals itself. When you cut your gum inside your mouth, it heals itself. So if all of those things are healing themselves, then why wouldn't your teeth? Just something to think about, just in case you're a real person. Don't want to hurt your feelings. But just so you know, I am deleting all of those comments. So anyway, I delete the comments, not because I don't want anyone else to read them. I delete the comments because the negativity that gets commented on my videos spreads to others. And I want the energy and the vibration of my channel to be higher than that. So I just erase them. And I typically don't even read all of them. If I get a gist of where it's going, it just gets deleted, because I've learned in my life that words do stick to people, and I am not going to own or proclaim that person's version of truth over my life. So anyway, that's why they're not on there. You guys don't ever get to see them or see me snap at people. I just delete them and move on. But just in case, JS 2022, if you're a real person, honey, I'm not sure why you're still watching. So anyway, that's that. And we were going to talk about an update on the house build. So that's been an interesting thing too. So those of you who, I could take you outside, and maybe I will. I just don't know what my reception's going to do. I'll try. I'll take you guys outside. If I lose you or you lose me, I'll get back on. Let's just try. My phone seems to get like horrible signal the more I walk away from my kitchen, which is okay. It's beneficial. So let me just go out front. Oh, the goats say hello. It's cloudy here. Okay, so I'm just gonna keep on walking forward because you guys will see. But that is the build. And we're just connecting the two homes. So the one that's right behind me right here is the off-grid one. And the one on that side over there is the on-grid kitchen one that we were just in. So anyway, that's where that sits. Hopefully this is still coming through. I'm going to go back inside in case it's not coming through. It's okay, Buttercup. It's not time to milk yet. But like the inside, we've got walls and stuff. We're getting ready to install the wood stove, which will sit like right here on the cement floors. And that'll be a back door with like a mudroom area right back over there. And of course our wood piles are at the back door, so that's awesome for the wood stove. Okay. And eventually this whole wall will be blown out. So it'll be a nice open house, which will be cool. But it's been a really, really big challenge. Simply because it's been hard to find help. Like when we built this building, it's easy to find volunteers, and we pay people, but people volunteer their extra time to come help. With the first building, we didn't even ask many people. It was just me and the kids and my husband that built it. But with this one in particular, and you fast forward 3 years, it's just been really hard to find a lot of people with extra time. And I think everyone's just busy. But basically, what has then happened is that we've had an unusually, it was just going to be August that was going to be wet. And then August came and left, and September started, and the rain just kept coming. So we didn't start that project until it looked like it wasn't going to rain. And then it did. So we got some unintentional water damage to the building we sleep in. It'll be fine. We'll just fix it. But it's been a really rough road, to be honest. And it was really funny because the one night when we had a really horrible storm, there was hail and like torrential downpour, and I had water literally running down my walls on the inside of my house and flooding my house. The next day we had a volunteer show up, and I think God is like in the details because his name was Noah. So he showed up. I looked at him and said, "I'm so glad your name is Noah because I need my ark like finished because it's flooded." So anyway, he stayed out. I think he's coming back this weekend, which I'm really thankful for that. But right now everything is dried and it's done leaking. Praise the Lord. And my husband's going to be working on the roof. I'm going to sneeze again. Maybe. Oh, there's this bouquet of flowers right behind you guys. I don't want to touch them. I think that's why I'm sneezing. Because Bethany went and picked them for me. And I don't have the heart to throw them out. But they're like already dead and like going to seed, you know, like polleny, like, hello, I died and now I'm fluffy because, anyway, I don't have the heart to throw them out. So they stay here. And so it's like every time I go to cook lately, this last week, I've been sneezing. And I think it might be the flowers. So I'm going to have to like sneak them outside and maybe replace them with some new ones or something. But bless her heart, she gave them to me, which is super nice. I was going to say, for those of you guys who watched last week, I told you guys everyone was sick. My husband is sick as well. I am still not sick. Praise the Lord. I'm pretty sure it's the big bad. Just the way it's acting, which I had last winter? No, the winter before it, I think. Anyway, and I had it really bad when I had it. And so I'm hoping that it's because of that and the fact I'm still drinking, as I advertised last week. I'm not an affiliate for this company, but they're an awesome company. Bulk herb stores, Urban CT. And I add extra seedless rose hips that I buy these from Vitacost. They come in a pound size container. But anyway, I make a really good tea with those two things. And I've just been making sure that I sip on it. I don't know what they have, especially if it is the big bad. But I don't feel like I'm going to get it. So that's the good thing. All right, I got to find a pan. I need a medium saucepan because we're going to make up the thickened sauce for the soup. I got to move my tea supplies out of the way in the back there. I do appreciate all of the comments on all of my videos, even if they're negative. I love the interaction. I love the questions. I love the community. I love the suggestions. I love all of it. Okay, so this is boiling away here. We're just going to let it keep on simmering / boiling until all of those vegetables are cooked. In the meantime, we're going to start a new little concoction in the back burner here. And we need about 8 tablespoons of butter. Once again, I'm going to eyeball it. This has been my solution with that butter that comes in a tube. It's just to thaw it out and fill a jar because it's just a mess. And I'm really, really hoping that Azure Standard has my regular Romano butter this next Azure drop. because it's just a mess. Because if it thaws out, then it like comes out of the tube, if that makes sense. And melts all over your counter, and it's really hard to measure it out once it turns into a mess. So we're going to call that 10 tablespoons. I'm not really sure exactly how much it was, but it's a lot of butter. Into that back burner there, we're going to go ahead and turn it over medium heat. We are, oh man, this soup smells so good. It's such a rich, comforting soup, and since fall is here, I find myself craving things that we can like make that will make me feel warm again. Because winter is coming. I am going to be making up freezer meals here soon, but it's going to be more of like a few freezer meals, but then a lot of like canning videos on what I'm going to be canning to come up with meals in a jar, and also canning up things like enchilada sauce, different sauces, so they're ready to go for my family when I'm on bed rest, because midwives, at least here, I don't know what it's like in the rest of the country, but midwives here in South Dakota and in Minnesota really want the mom to have a whole week after the baby's born, full recovery in bed. So in order for that to happen for me, I've got to have at least a week of meals. And the second week really is light duty as well. So I typically try to have at least a month worth of meals ready to go. Usually I fill a freezer, but now that we're growing all of our own, or most of our own, all of our own chicken, but buying stuff from farmers and such, we buy our meat in larger quantities, and so our freezers are packed full. That is the other thing I was going to ask. Is there anyone interested in me making a video on how I cure and smoke our own pork? If you're interested in that, either email me or leave a comment down below so I know there's interest. Because when the temperatures cool off a little bit more, that is my plan. I have 2 full huge hams and a bunch of bacon to do. So if that's something that you would be interested in, please make sure you comment and let me know. If not, I'm not going to record it, because it's one more thing for me to set up a camera. But if there is interest, I would love to share that with you guys. It's something that I was afraid to do at first, but once you do it and you taste the delicious flavor that comes from doing it yourself, totally worth it. I'm just washing a whisk here. Hang on. I used a whisk with lunch because I made homemade from scratch macaroni and cheese with chicken. My kids, I've actually never made it like that before. I usually depend on Azure Standard's cheese powder, which is still good. But this time I made everything from scratch, and my kids loved it. But it was so filling. The girls were saying that they ate so much that their stomachs hurt, which was pretty funny. Okay, this butter's almost melted, and we're going to go to the next step, which in my case is cornstarch. But in your case, it might look something like, this is cornstarch from Azure Standard. It's organic, non-GMO cornstarch. But in your case, it might look like sprouted flour or cassava flour, or you could take out all the flour and you could just thicken it with, like I said, things like cheese. It would change the taste of your soup, but you could do cream cheese, which would be yummy in this. Just something to thicken the soup with. Okay, the butter is melted. It's starting to make that hi, I'm oil in a pan sound. So we're going to grab a half of a cup of cornstarch. I'm going to grab my milk first before I forget. We need 3 cups of milk. And I'm going to get it ready because once the cornstarch hits the butter, it's going to thicken super, super fast. And we're going to need some. There it goes already. Kind of looks like buttered mashed potatoes. Okay. And we're going to add milk now. If you're using flour, you're going to want to let it cook for a minute. Cornstarch, you don't have to do that with. I add about a cup of the 3 cups of milk there. You could also use cream. I'm using milk because that's what I have. Cream even would make it thicker and creamier without the use of thickener. So definitely a good option there. So what we're doing is we added 1 cup. Now we're going to wait for it to come back up to a simmer. We're going to whisk it again and add another cup of milk. The reason why you don't want to add it all at once is because as you're whisking this, whenever you thicken a sauce, it thickens from the bottom up. So if you have a large volume of liquid, it's really hard to tell when it's thick enough. And so just start slow, 1 cup at a time of milk added to the cornstarch mixture. This smells amazing, the soup that's simmering. I love this soup. Every time I'm like, do I want to make this or just want to make regular wild rice soup with no mushrooms? Oh my gosh, mushrooms 1000%. And I smell it boiling and I'm like, oh, yes, mushrooms were the right choice. And if you're just now jumping on, this recipe is in my cookbook. The link is down below. It's on page 120. I'm just eyeballing the milk as well. There's a little over 3 cups in there. But I figure I'll just drink the rest, because maybe little man will be coming. We'll see. He was so funny yesterday, you guys. We went to the library. And he checked out his 5 books, and the librarian was like, do you want a sack? Because she usually puts it like in a grocery sack, you know, like your books, so you don't have to carry them all. And he had some big chunky books because he checked out some books on tractors and trucks and Thomas the Train, which is his favorite. And he looked at her and said, nope. And she's like, are you sure? Those books look awfully heavy. And he said, hey, you know what? Your bag teared. And gave her this evil stink eye. It was hilarious. I laughed so. I was trying not to laugh. I looked the other way and was stifling my laugh. And told the librarian, well, I guess that's a no. He's definitely firm on not wanting one of your bags that tear, apparently. But what happened the previous week was he had one of those plastic bags from the grocery store, and it did tear on the way into the library all over the ground. And so I think he was not sold after that. But it was still funny that he chose to say that to her. So when you go to whisk something that you're thickening, you're going to feel it with the whisk, when you go to whisk it, that there's solids at the bottom. So just make sure you cover the whole bottom of your pan with your whisk. This pot is getting hot. I'm going to turn it back down to medium. I had turned it up a little bit. But now we're really simmering good. What's going to be happening is this sauce in the back is going to be added to the large pot, and it adds a creamy texture. This soup freezes really good, you guys, just in case you're wondering. Oh man, so good. It's a great freezing meal. So I think for my freezing meals for baby, the videos that you guys are going to be seeing is going to be more like breakfast things, because post-baby, that's what we've always struggled with, is that first meal of the day, because I'm usually dragging, or if Jeremiah's home and he's taking care of the kids while I'm on bed rest, he's dragging because he's living my crazy life. And so I'm thinking breakfast things, thinking like English muffins, etc. So, all right. It's thickening, just not very quick. I'm going to check the consistency of our vegetables over here. Because once the vegetables are cooked, then this can get turned off. I always check the carrots because they are the most dense thing in this soup. Let me get a fork. And we will see what's going on here. Almost. Probably 5 more minutes on the soup. And then we will add our chicken and our cream sauce. Oh yeah, now it's thickening up. You never want to walk away when you're thickening sauce either. I've made that mistake one too many times thinking I had time to walk away, and it will thicken so fast and then it burns to the bottom of the pan. So we don't want to do that. Basically what ends up happening is that cornstarch has to get to a certain temperature to thicken the liquid. And so it might not look thick right now, but in 1 minute or less from now, it will be hot enough and it'll thicken while you walk away to go use the restroom or something. And when you get out, it will be burned to the bottom of your pan. Yep, it's nice and thick. I'll show you guys in just a second here. So in case you guys can't see because the lighting is bad. Gonna let it come up to a simmer, and then I'm gonna go ahead and turn the heat off of that back burner back there. But it's thick enough where it's like bubbling. It's like really thick, almost a mashed potato consistency. I think I'm actually going to pull it off the burner because it's starting to smell like it might be getting a little bit brown on the bottom. But you guys can see how thick that is. It's like a really thick cream looking borderline. Oh, there's a little bit of thickener there. I'll just whisk it on in a little bit. But it's starting to smell. Yeah, so you can see, I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but on the very, very top, it's getting brown on the bottom of the pan. So I'm going to pull this off of the heat completely. Because on the glass cooktop, the cooktop is going to stay hot, and I do not want that burning to the bottom because when that happens, it ruins that cream sauce. Because unfortunately, dairy holds the taste of burned, and I've tried everything to get it out, but it just doesn't get out. It's just the way it is. All right, I'm going to go ahead and add my chicken to the pot because, like I said, my chicken is already cooked. So we are looking at 4 cups of chicken. You sure could have added raw chicken in the beginning and have been boiling it this whole time. Our freezer space is very limited, and because we grow so much of our own chicken, I have to cook down those chickens into meat and broth and then preserve those. So I typically take a whole chicken that we grow here on the farm and I cook it down in a slow roaster, remove all of the chicken from it, then make bone broth. And then it gets the chicken itself gets frozen in quart-sized bags and like laid on top of each one, like books inside your freezer. And that conserves space, but still allows us to grow a whole year's supply of chicken for our family. I'm just going to give this a good stir. So you will see me rarely ever using raw chicken when making dishes because that's the way we store our chicken is already cooked. Okay, so we'll let this keep on simmering just for a few more minutes. Make sure those carrots are cooked all the way through. Another note is even if I had to buy chicken by the cut, I would never buy boneless, skinless chicken breasts. And the reason why is because boneless, skinless chicken breasts are way lower in vitamin A than cuts with the chicken skin still on. So if you're going to buy breasts, buy them with the chicken on. You could buy bone-in pieces. All of those cuts with skin on have way more vitamin A in them than boneless, skinless chicken breasts. That is one thing I have never understood about some other channels here on YouTube that are nutrient-dense, nourishing meals, is they're always using chicken breasts. And I can't understand that because if they knew what they were robbing their body of, they would want the skin. So anyway, I leave the skin and everything on the chicken, and I just cut it up into little pieces. So the soup will have little chunks of skin in it. But that has nutrients, has vitamin A, along with a long list of other things that our pastured poultry has put into that skin that's going to benefit our body when we go to utilize the rest of the nutrients in the soup. All right, I'm going to go ahead and taste another carrot here. Make sure it's soft. They're looking soft. Yep. All right. I'm going to go ahead and turn the heat off. We're going to add the cream sauce. This is a nice, thick soup. This would be good with some bread. I don't have any. But it would be good with some sourdough bread or some sourdough biscuits. Would be super delicious. I will say that I'm starting to teach my older girls how to make bread. So far, I've just taught Nevaeh how. And she made her first 2 loaves about a week or so ago, and they were perfect. She made them all by herself. So I had a proud mama moment. All right, so we're just going to stir this until all that, you know, the clumps of the cream sauce are dissolved. Once again, this recipe is in my cookbook on page 120. The link's down below to purchase the cookbook. But you guys can see how delicious that looks. The picture on the little thumbnail wasn't lying, okay? This is a delicious soup. It freezes really well. That's all there is to this one. And like I said, I did kale instead of the spinach. So had I done the spinach, there would be a little more volume there. I mean, it cooks down as well. But I had the kale. So that's that. There are a few more people on, so I'm just going to throw this out there one more time. I'm going to be curing and smoking our ham we bought from a farmer and our bacon. If you are interested in me videoing that, will you please leave a comment down below and let me know? Because I'm willing to video how the old process of curing works and smoking. But I don't want to go through all the editing and everything else if no one really wants to see that. So let me know down below if you're interested. I'm going to go ask William if he wants some milk. I'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Cute little boy drinking milk coming up. You want to drink milk, Mama? Yeah, come on over. Oh my gosh. Okay, come on. Yeah, you gonna come? All right. Well, I didn't forget about you. I know. Here, she eat your stool. Let's get you a stool. Okay. That's all right. Okay. This is hot, so watch yourself on that. Is it too tall? Oh, it's tall. Too tall. Gotta shrink it down for the little guy. Hang on. Here. No, that is cornstarch. You don't want to eat that. Sure. Your nose is running still? Yeah, you don't want to eat that. Do you need to go blow your nose? No, you're good now. Is that the difference between a boy and a girl, William? Yeah, I think so. Okay, so I have milk here.
I'm a boy. I'm going to be a boy.
I know, you're a boy. Yeah, you just suck your snot up and swallow it.
Huh?
We don't need anything else. Yeah, I gotta grab some more milk. Chill on out.
No, I want to do it, baby.
You keep sucking your snot. I'm gonna get you some more milk. There you go. Give it some good snot sucking. All right. All right. If I give you a big cup, are you gonna drink it all, William? Okay.
It is mine.
You know what? It is now. There you go. You want some more?
That is yours.
You want some more? I'm going to pour myself some new stuff. You're fine. Good to go? You better wait for me. Hey. All right. Ready? Jeez.
I don't know why we do rock, paper, scissors all night.
Who are you doing rock, paper, scissors with?
Daddy.
Daddy? Oh, because it's a game that you can play with other people, and whoever wins is the winner, and it's really fast and easy. Do you know how to play it? No? Go like this. This is rock. This is paper. And this is scissors. So then you just both do it at the same time. Rock, paper, scissors, and you pick one. And then, like, if you're a rock and someone else is paper, the paper covers the rock. So then you would lose because you're the rock. I know, it's above your head. You just enjoy your milk. What did you do today? I noticed you were down in the pasture with the goats. What were you doing out there?
Eating a goat.
Yeah.
With all those.
Some of that lufula grass stuff? Uh-huh. They like it? Oh.
So all like it.
Yeah?
They go.
Hey, William, whose birthday is tomorrow?
Buses.
Bethany's. Do you know how old Bethany's going to be?
But she can be old.
She's going to be old? She's going to be 7.
7?
Yeah. How old are you?
I don't know.
You're 4. Should we count it? Count it. Go ahead. 1, 2, 3, 4. You're 4. Do you want mommy to have a baby sister or a baby brother for you?
I'm a boy. I want them to be.
You want it to be a boy now? Oh, why?
Because I want it to be my room.
Oh, you want to share a room with it? Oh.
So I can just have a brother.
A little brother? Yeah, that would be nice. A little brother would be nice. Yeah.
And a brother.
A brother. You decided that? I'm glad you decided that. We'll see what happens, right? You'll know by Christmas, won't you? Wow, you're going to drink all of that. That's like 4 cups of milk. Where are you putting it all?
In my stomach.
In my stomach. You want to see the soup Mama made? It's yummy. Here, hang on. It's hot. Let me touch it. Hang on. I'll stir it. Yeah, hang on. Hang on. I don't want you to get burned. Don't get too excited. See it? You smell it? Does it smell good? He's sold. He's sold. All right. Well, he's almost done with his milk, too.
Yeah, we did the drink.
Are you going to drink it? Okay. You drink the rest. You're going to grow big and strong. All right. That's all there is to dinner. If you missed it, you'll have to go back and watch the replay, but it is on page 120 of my cookbook if you've ordered it. If you haven't, the link's down below. It is chicken mushroom wild rice soup, and it's delicious. Next week's cooking class is already up, so I'm ahead of the game this week. It's over under the pre-scheduled events. You can click remind me. It'll send you a link to let you know I've gone live. So you full? Oh my goodness, you look like it. You can get down okay? Now, what did I say we were making next week? Don't remember. Anyway, it'd be a surprise for me too. But the link is already up, so we'll for sure have a cooking class that week. The following week, which will be October.
The big one, what would come from?
Okay. All right. The following week, October 10th, I may or may not have a class. I volunteered to help my other co-chapter leader with a Weston A. Price booth at the local farmers market. It's the last one of the year. So if I end up helping with that, then I will not have a class. So I'll have to keep you guys updated next week on that. Let's see what else. Oh, I do have aprons in stock. If anyone wants one, Christmas is coming. They're up into the store. Links down below for the store, and you can just scroll through everything that I've got for sale. And this is one of them. So anyway, this is a year-old apron. I got some cornstarch on it from tonight. But as you guys can see, it doesn't fade or peel like some other merchandise you buy from other YouTubers. This has been washed probably 50 times and has not come off yet. So, oh, and I should say the significance of the logo, this is the Abundantly Blessed Homestead logo, is that we are to teach our children and other younger generations, whether they're your children or not, what nutrient-dense foods look like, just like a mama hen does with her chicks. If you've ever seen a mama hen and chicks, she is constantly showing them what to peck and what not to peck and leading them to food, showing them bugs, etc. That's what our job is as humans, is to show others and pass the wisdom on to the next generation. So that's what the logo is about. If you want one, they're into the store. I can ship them out to you. Other than that, that's it for this week. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for all the questions. Thank you for caring about my build, Kathy and everyone else. And I'll see you guys next week for sure. All right, you guys take care.